Hey guys, Jordan Norell here, and today with my daily video about circumcision, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I am happy that I am personally mutilated, aka circumcised. And, you don't hear this very often among men that they view circumcision as male genital mutilation, correctly so, and also that they're, happy with it, satisfied with it. I think it's a good thing. Except maybe among some, you know, some Jews who are honest about it and say, yeah, this is mutilation, it's horrible, but God told us to do it, so we do it, and we're happy to be who we are anyways. You do hear that occasionally, but for the most part, you either hear people very stupidly and clumsily trying to explain why circumcision's good, that it has some weird health benefits to cut off part of your body that's evolved over billions of years to give you maximum sexual pleasure and function beyond anything that humans have ever created or could create. Um, Somehow evolution just fucked up, and it's like, oh yeah, the most sensitive part of your penis, not good for sex. Um, and so yeah, for a long time I was really upset about it and really unhappy that someone cut off part of that part of my body because it's the most intimate, most important thing to me. And I was really depressed, had pretty severe PTSD actually for a few years, and I wanted to kill myself every day during a time that really should have been pretty happy for me. Um, but there's a turning point when after around 3 years, I realized because I wanted to be a different person. Frankly, it was partly because of a girl, because I wanted to be good enough, and I was a pretty sad piece of shit back then. And my life it was horrible. It was painful and it was awful. And like I said, I didn't even want to be alive. So at that point, I decided I was going to change something. And I decided to do a class called Healing from Trauma at my school, and decided I would do whatever it took to heal the immense pain within myself that I just couldn't live with anymore. And so I did that, and I spent a few months doing different exercises. Really, it wasn't that. It was probably a few hours a week that I spent just doing stuff that helped me get over the PTSD. I wasn't suicidal anymore. My life got way better. Ultimately, I was still in pain from it. I wasn't totally happy with it. And then over the next, how long has it been now? 2.5, 3 years. Since then, I've had periods of getting upset about it again because I just tried not to focus on it and forget about it, and then doing more therapy stuff. And at this point, I've come to a place where, first of all, I still want my whole penis back. Like, I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying it's the exact same thing as female genital mutilation. It's still on that level to me. It's just that at this point, I have come to a place of peace in myself and emotional. I've gotten bigger. Who I was died. Who I was has been obliterated into a million pieces and smashed into the ground repeatedly, hundreds of times, to the point that it doesn't exist anymore. And I'm a different person, and I'm able to feel those feelings that I had before and have some of that pain, and still have suffering around circumcision to some degree. And still, I'm doing a lot of exercises right now, around 45 minutes a day of that, and then I do a lot of other self-development and meditation and things like that. But ultimately, having this incredibly painful, deep wound in me leads to transformation that I don't think would have otherwise actually been possible or happened as quickly as it did, because I would never have been forced into this situation I am now, and I never would have chosen to endure any pain this great or have so much discipline in correcting it if it hadn't been for the fact that it was forced on me. And so, yeah, at this point, I'm really, really happy. I'm really, really excited to be at the forefront of this movement. At the time when it's just about to really, really pick up speed, and circumcision is going to end in the United States very soon, and the tides are going to change from relatively for it to very, very against it, which I think is also going to help the rest of the world and very easily fund foreskin regeneration by Foragen or someone else in the very near future, which ultimately I'm pretty sure we will get our whole penises back if that's possible, and I think there's every reason to believe it is. In fact, it really shouldn't even be that difficult to regenerate skin and some nerves and some smooth muscle. It's not that complicated of a tissue compared to other things we've actually regenerated. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited to have transformed in the way and continuing to transform and evolve as a person because of continuing to face this pain inside me. And in general in my life, I have so much energy. I'm so happy. I'm so just feeling alive. And don't get me wrong, it's not pleasant to face that shadow within myself, but I do it every day consistently. It's helped me develop a lot of discipline, develop a lot of emotional maturity, and ability to withstand things that most people can't withstand. Nothing really bothers me, in the face of that anymore. And, the time in my life when I was in that much pain, it's hard to make up for that without having a lifetime full of bliss to compensate for how much suffering I actually had over those years. But I think that actually that's probably exactly how the rest of my life is going to be. I feel blissful a lot of the time already. Right now I feel really, really, really happy, like with most of my life. And my life's not even that great. I'm almost broke. I'm working constantly. I don't really do anything for fun. Like, I really shouldn't be. I don't have any friends. I really shouldn't be that happy, but I am, and it just seems to keep on getting better and better. And yeah. So ultimately, I know a lot of guys don't want to hear this, and it's not. It's blasphemy, in the sort of extremist, almost religious, cultish sort of manner that intactivism gets into, that, circumcision is the worst thing in the whole world, and you can't ever be happy about it, or you are the enemy. And it's like very entrenched because it's trauma, and with trauma, when you have very extreme trauma, it generally leads to fundamentalism or extremism. That's actually what causes those things to arise in religions, is a very serious trauma happens to a certain people, and from that they develop very extreme beliefs and an us versus them mentality, and we have to and it also very just not generally being very effective. Extremists, they tend to have a very bombastic, aggressive tactics that tend to not really do that much in the grand scheme of things, except generate more hate towards them. Anyways, so please don't hate me. I'm just trying to point out that you can actually have a huge amount of energy and joy and ability to fight for this cause and make things change, and still think that circumcision is the worst thing in the world and totally wrong, and we need to end it, and no one ever deserves that, and it's not okay. But at the same time, use your own trauma, your own pain to help you transform. Face that, go into it, and keep on going into it, keep on feeling it, hours every day until the point where it starts to transmute itself and through an alchemical process. The fire and the horribleness of it turns in back into pure energy, and then you can use that however you want. And so that's my recommendation. And yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to y'all again tomorrow.